This is Monday Morning Meditations, number 261, here on the Rising Man podcast with Jeddy Azuma. Stop looking over the fence at what your neighbor has. Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday to you. My name's Jeddy Azuma, and I'm back here on the Rising Man podcast with another Monday morning meditation coming right your way. Without further ado, the topic for today's Monday morning meditation is how to not covet what your neighbor has. So whether or not you grew up in a Christian or Catholic background, you might know that there's this thing called the 10 Commandments. And one of those 10 Commandments is you shall never covet what your neighbor has. You should never covet your neighbor's goods. Now, translating that in modern terms, it means you shouldn't desire for what your neighbor has. And even more of a modern translation is quit playing the comparison game. That's really what it means not to covet what your neighbor has. And these days, we get so wrapped up and caught up in what my neighbor's driving and the big house that my brother just bought and where I thought I would be at this age. And I'm completely neglecting the life that I want to create for myself. Comparing the way that I dress, how much money's in my bank account, the things that I've been able to provide for my family, the vacations we can or cannot go on based on what I'm seeing other people do, based on what I'm watching celebrities do or people in movies and on television. It's a losing game. In fact, it's a game that's not even the one that I want to be playing. Too many times I see men going out into the world, starting to play the game by the rules that somebody else created. You should have a house by the time that you're 30. You should have $500,000 in your 401k by the time that you're 35 years old. Whatever those rules are that somebody else decided, if I haven't looked at those rules and decided whether or not they're part of my game, and I'm just playing somebody else's game. And this is really important. This is really, really important. I noticed this for myself because it sneaks in all of these slippery ways. We don't even notice how much we're being influenced by the people around us, by the messages around us, by expectations that our parents had or expectations that our partners have. And all of a sudden, we start to live and create and design a life by other people's standards. We set the bar according to what we think we should do, what I think I should want my life to look like, instead of what do I really want my life to look like? And what I can tell you is simply this: the most rewarding experience for a man is to look yourself in the mirror someday and be able to acknowledge yourself for creating a life by your design and no one else's. Who cares if you drive a car that's $50,000 less than your neighbor? Who cares if you've got a smaller, older house than your cousin? Right? Who cares if you don't have some 10 out of 10 Victoria's Secret model wife who also does all these other amazing things for you, like some guy you saw on TV, if that's not the life that you wanted anyway? First thing you got to do is you got to check in with yourself and be honest about that life that you want to create. What does life look like in your lane when you've achieved what you set out to do, when you've become who you've set out to be? Those are the important questions to ask. And maybe this is hitting you and you're catching yourself in this moment realizing, wait a second, I've been chasing some of these things that I don't even really want. In fact, I don't even care about it that much. Have you ever thought of that? Have you ever done an inventory of your life and checked out all the things you're chasing after and asked, do I really want that? Is that really something that I care about? Or did I just throw that on the list somewhere along the way? Hey, if you did, great news, because you can just scratch it off the list. If it's not something that you genuinely want to create in your world, then get it out of there. Because there's no reason for you to waste your time chasing after and pursuing something that you don't want, that you don't care about, because that guy over there does. Let that go. There's no reason to chase somebody else's carrot. There's no reason to run after somebody else's end game. But in order to know the difference and be discerning about that, you got to check in. Check in with yourself and decide, hey, what does this guy want? What's the world that I want to live in? Quit looking over the fence. Quit coveting and desiring what somebody else has just because it looks like it's working for them. You don't need to have all of the material possessions that somebody else has to feel fulfilled. In fact, how many times have we heard stories about people getting those things and realizing it's not what they wanted anyway? Or even worse, that they sacrificed what they wanted all along, chasing after this other thing over here that they don't give a fuck about. That's the trap that you don't want to get caught up in. So going back to this old 10 Commandments, biblical teaching of not coveting what your neighbor has, really the message is stay in your lane. Stop comparing yourself to other people. Be able to look yourself in the mirror one day and say, hey, I am proud of what I've been able to create. I've created the life that I want. I'm fulfilled by what I've chosen to build into my life and what I've decided to do. Forget everybody else. Let them have their game. Let them chase their carrot. Let them do what they want to do. I'm fulfilling what I came here to do. That's the most rewarding feeling that there is. So give yourself that. And watch this one again if you need to hear it. Maybe put a bookmark on there for a month from now when you've forgotten and you start chasing after somebody else's goals and desires again to get back to what you want, because that's what ultimately matters. Hope you enjoyed this one, and make sure you tune in next week for another Monday morning meditation here on the Rising Man podcast. Until then, rise up and claim your destiny.